What is up, MSM? It is great to see you. My name is Sam. We're going to jump straight into some announcements today, and I'm really excited because we are in week 2 of our series called FAM, where we're learning what it takes not just to live with our family, but to actually love our family. Here's the thing, we get to offer a brand new reading plan with that as well. It's not too late to jump in. So if you want, go ahead, click the link below in the description of the video. You can also click the link in our Instagram bio or in one of the emails that gets sent out to your parents and join the YouVersion reading plan with all the rest of MSM. The cool part about that is you learn stuff that is actually coinciding. It goes right along with what we're learning on Sundays. And you get to make comments and ask questions with the rest of our students here at MSM. Pretty cool opportunity. Check it out. If you'd rather not do it digitally, that's totally okay. We send a hard copy out to your parents each week in the email that goes out. So keep an eye out for that. Next, we got coming up, I'm super excited about this one. You have to be there. I really want to see you there. We got our bowling adventure coming up at Bel Mateo Bowling. We are going to be right out there on November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. Everyone say it with me. Type it in the chat. 2 to 4 p.m. We're going to be bowling at Bel Mateo Bowling. I get really competitive, so if you want to see me throw a bowling ball and hope and pray that I hit the pins, come hang out with us on November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. We've already got 25 signups, so make sure to get in there and see us on November 6th from 2 to 4 p.m. You can register for that again in the link below or by going to our Instagram or one of the emails that I send your parents each week. But we would love to be able to see you there because it's a lot of fun and the events we do are always pretty cool. So here's the cool thing about it though. We just finished up our fall party last Tuesday on October 26th. We got to hang out for our fall party. We had tons of games and it ended in a very, well, hang on. I'm not going to tell you how it ended. I'm just going to show you. This is how our fall party ended. Check it out. Well, what is up, MSM? It is great to see you. We are in week 2 of our series called FAM, where we are learning what it takes not just to live with our family, but to actually love our family. Not just to tolerate them, but to actually love them. That's what God wants for his kids, is to not just live in family and tolerate it, but to actually love the family that they live with. Now, this week, though, we're going to be trying to get to the bottom of where is God when my family changes? Where is God when my family changes? Does he care? Is he involved? Is it my fault? Is it his fault? Is it their fault? What should we do? We're going to answer all of those questions today by looking at the book of Isaiah. But first, I want to ask you how you normally feel about change. Are you someone who's like, give me all the change, keep me traveling all the time, rearrange all the furniture in the house, shift schools, I love meeting new people? Is that how you feel? Or are you like, no, I want everything to be the same. I get really bothered when things shift or change at home. I was a little bit of both growing up. Like, I loved rearranging furniture. I loved organizing things. I loved like putting up new stuff in my room and taking down the old stuff. Like, I enjoyed that. But now that I'm a little bit older, Bree and I just had some big change in our life. We moved from our little studio apartment in Burlingame into a nice house in Belmont. So the cats got a little more room to play and they're very grateful. And so are Bree and I. We love it. There's no way in the world we'd ever go back to where we used to live, even though that was great too. But like I said, sometimes change can come with some mixed emotions. Now, everything's in a different place in my house. Everything's in a different place, and I can't find anything. Like when I look for the cat food to feed the cats at the end of the night, I'm going through every cupboard. I'm going through every drawer. I'm walking into halls I didn't even know existed in that house. I got to get Apple Maps back up just to get back to the kitchen, right? Like I'm lost as to where the cat food is. It's been over a month and I'm still looking at Bree going, "Hey, Bree, where's the cat food?" And she's like, "It's in the same drawer it's been for the last month." And I go, "Oh yeah, you're right." And I open it up and boom, there it is. Sometimes change can come with some mixed emotion. That's not even bad change. That's good change and that's healthy change. The toughest change that we might go through in our life is when our family changes. And that can really come with some strong emotions. So we got to figure out how God feels about that and what he is going to do about it, where he is in the midst of that change, because it can be really rocky for us to navigate. There's a couple different ways our family can change, and maybe there's more than what I'm about to say. So if I leave your scenario off the list, please don't feel left out. Just know we only had a little bit of time to get to stuff today. So our family can change in many different ways, right? We could add people to our family. We could. Maybe we gain a sibling. Mom and dad bring them home from the hospital and they're like, "This is the greatest day ever." And you're like, "I don't know about that." Maybe our family changes and we add people. Maybe our mom and dad remarry and suddenly we gain siblings and we don't know how we feel about that. We're excited, but we're also nervous. There can be mixed emotions when it comes to adding people in our family. Maybe we lose people in our family. Someone got sick and passed away. Maybe there was a divorce that happened in our family or our extended family. And so now it's like, did we lose them as cousins? Do we still have them? I'm not sure. Are they still my aunt and uncle? I don't know. Now what do we do with our immediate family? What does Christmas look like? What does Thanksgiving look like? There's a lot of mixed emotions surrounding change. You can add people to your family. You could potentially lose some family members. Maybe somebody moves away and it feels like you lost that person because the contact isn't as close as it used to be. Maybe your family's going through a season right now where they're not getting along. And there's a lot of drama in your family. And it feels like your family is changing. Everything used to be smooth and then we moved. Or everything used to be okay and then we shifted schools. Or parents got different jobs, or schedules shifted around. Somebody stopped doing sports. Somebody took up a different sport, and now everything is drama. Now everything is different. Or maybe you're going through a season and it feels pretty smooth. And you're like, this is odd. I'm not sure how to feel because I'm used to the old way where things used to be really dramatic. Things used to be really filled with tension. And now I don't know how to feel that things are smooth. One thing is for sure is that we have to figure out how God feels about us and our family when it changes. Change might not always be for the best, but we always have to figure out what we should do and how God feels when there's a change in our family. So there's a big question. We talked about it up at the top. Where is God when my family goes through change? When I was about 17 years old, my family went through a huge change. There was a lot of tension, a lot of stress, a lot of drama, and a lot of hurt in my family, my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my brother, and I. So much stress and so much drama that we actually ended up separating for a season. We ended up separating just for a little while, just to see if cooler heads would prevail. And I think it was 16 or 17. My mom, my brother, and I went back up to Wisconsin to live with my uncle and his family. And it was a big change. We didn't know what would happen. We didn't know if we would like being up there. We didn't know if we would miss being in Florida. We didn't know what was happening. It was really kind of scary at that time. We had no friends. We had a different change in weather, which if you don't think that's a big deal, go from a place where it's 95 degrees every day to a place where it's like 10 degrees. That's a big change. And you've got no friends. School looks completely different. And plus, there's this little fear of the unknown inside my heart of, I don't know what's going to happen. So when change is happening, typically we fear the unknown as people. That's pretty normal. So if you're going through something similar, or if your friends are going through something similar, just know that when that thought comes up in your heart or in your mind of, I'm terrified, I don't know what's going to happen, that's pretty normal. But we want to be able to respond to change in a way that helps us make it through change and make it through change the best we possibly can. That's God's heart for us. Maybe you're not experiencing that right now. Everything's going smooth. That's great. Eventually, there'll be a season in your family, be that now, 30 years from now, or 80 years from now. I'm not saying you'll experience negativity in your family, but you might experience what we talked about earlier, a little change in your family. And if we're not careful, here's what kind of creeps into our head. Here's the lies that kind of creep into our head when our family changes. It's our fault. If we were just better, if we were just better kids, or if we were just better in general, this change wouldn't have happened. It's our fault. We were putting too much stress on the family. We were putting too much stress on mom and dad. It's a little lie that creeps into our head. Another one that we tend to believe that is a lie is if we just prayed a little bit harder, then God would have done something about it. It all is on us. If we would have done better, if we would have prayed harder, there would have not been the change. Or potentially the change would have been for the good and not for the bad. Or we believe the lie that, hey, that's life. That's just what happens. You have to do it on your own. No one's going to be there to help you. And that's not true at all. Or we believe the lie, if we ask for help, we're weak. Strong people do it on their own. If you're feeling confused or you're feeling sad during family change, or you're feeling scared during family change, you must be weak. Those are some of the lies that we tend to believe. And if you believe one that I left off this list, please let one of your small group leaders know. Let me know. We would love to be able to walk you through stuff like this. But the God of the Bible, our Father, has a different story for us to believe that's better than those lies. He has reality for us to lean into. It's not about just doing stuff that makes your parents happy. It's literally about living in the reality that God has a better story for our life than anyone can offer or we can even imagine. That during change, God actually has something in it for us to learn. He might not be causing the change, but He can be there with us during the change and help us through it so that we emerge through it with Him. That's the reality that God offers. There was a time when it was really, really true for the nation of Israel. We're going to look at the book of Isaiah today. The nation of Israel was in exile. They were taken over. They were captive by another nation called Babylon. Their life had changed in every way imaginable. They were wearing different clothes. They were forced to wear different things. They were forced to eat different things. They were taken from their home. They were made to work long hours. They were enslaved. It was horrible for them. It wasn't just a little family shift. This was a complete shift of the way they lived their everyday life. Everything that they had known to be normal was ripped from them. And that was not something that they enjoyed. Shocker, right? They didn't like having their normal taken away from them. They were actually under oppression. Now, the question is, where is God when my family changes? Well, where was God when something changed for His family, the nation of Israel? So we're going to look at the book of Isaiah today, and we're going to see that the promise that was true for them back then can actually apply to you and me today. Here it is. We're going to take a look at the book of Isaiah. It's chapter 43, verse 2. You can go there on the YouVersion app if you have it, or crack open your Bible right now. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. We're going to see how God worked with His family back then in order to figure out how God is going to work with us and our family right now. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 2. This is in the NIV version. So here we go. It says, "When you pass through waters, I will be with you." This is all metaphoric, kind of poetic language here. So if you're an artist, this is right where you're thinking most of the time. It's a metaphor. When you pass through waters, I will be with you. That's good. And when you pass through rivers, they will not sweep over you. How many of y'all feel that creep up on you? Like when you're in your bed at night, you feel this anxiousness creep up on you, and it feels like it's just going to sweep you over. Here's what God promises. When you pass through rivers of anxiety, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through fire, you will not be burned. How many of y'all feel like some of your relationships at school, and they're fiery and not in a happy way where it's like, yeah, there's so much energy. It's like, no, there's so much hurt. When you pass through fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Go back 2 chapters to Isaiah 41, verses 10. Remember, Isaiah is a prophet. In the Old Testament, life before Jesus was on earth, God used to communicate to his people through prophets. They were like Amazon drivers, right? They would deliver the news. They would deliver the stuff. So God would speak to a prophet, a person, and then that prophet would deliver the message to God's people. This was Isaiah. And in chapter 41, it says this. So this is what God was saying to his family. Don't panic. But normal has been ripped away from us. What do you mean, don't panic? God says, don't panic. And it's not in an angry, harsh way, like, don't panic, be quiet. It's more an invitation for us not to have to panic. Why? Because he says, I am with you. There is no need to fear, for I am your God. Again, the focus is not on the problem. The focus on who is your God. The focus is not on the change won't be that bad. The focus is on our God is that good. Our God is that good. He says this, I'll give you strength. I'll help you. I'll hold you steady. I'll keep a firm grip on you. You feel like your world is shaking. You feel like things are getting out of control. God will keep a firm grip on you. He's not letting you go. There's nothing you can do, and there's nothing anybody else can do either. When change happens and we aren't sure what to do, we got to hold on to promises like this, because it was true for Israel back then in a very, very dramatic and tense time, and it's true for us now. Notice God wasn't saying that everything was going to be okay, as far as the change wasn't going to happen. As far as, hey, Israel, everything's going to be fine. You're going to go back to normal in 4 days. He didn't say that. What he promised was when things happened, he would be there for them. When the world shook, he'd be there to hang on to them. That's God's promise for us as well. We got to hold on to that when our family changes and it feels like things are out of control. But how do we hang on to a promise that was for people 2,000 years ago? It's a little difficult sometimes. We got to ask God for help. That's just prayer, right? That's talking to God saying, God, it feels like my family is splitting apart at the seams. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? God, I don't know what to do. It feels like my little brother and I are at war. God, I don't know what to do. It feels like my big sister and I are at war. God, I don't know what to do. My uncle and aunt just went through a divorce, and now I don't know if I'm going to get to see my cousins again, and that really worries me. When all of that stuff is happening, we got to remember to reach out to God, to verbalize that. He knows what's in our heart, but he wants to have a conversation with us and remind us that he's going to be there for us and with us through that change. We can also remind ourselves of that truth, right? We could write it on a note card and stick it in our mirror. We can write it on something and have it in our pocket. We can tape it to the inside of our backpacks. We can put it on our phone screen. We can put it in a note and look at it when we start to get anxious in class. Those are all things that I've done to remind myself that, hey, when things feel tense, this is God's heart towards us. We can ask for help from a small group leader too. You can reach out to your small group leaders. They love walking you through stuff like this all the time. It brings them great joy to be God for you. Not for you in the way that's like they are God, but they love reminding you that they love you and so does God, and we're going to be here for you and so will he. Last thing is that we got to remember to be patient too. Not all family tension, not all change is resolved within a matter of days or hours. Sometimes it takes years to resolve. But that's okay, because we remember not to panic, because God's with us. There's no need to fear, because I am your God. I'll give you the strength. I'll give you the help. I'll hold on to you and keep you steady. I'll keep a firm grip on you. So that when the lie creeps into our head that this is our fault, if we would have done better, if we would have prayed harder, if we wouldn't have had so many demands on mom or dad, if schools wouldn't have changed, everything would have been okay. We can lean into the fact that God has a better reality for us, that when our world shakes, He'll be there not just to lead us and show us what to do, but He'll be there to love us and hang on to us too. He's not just there to lead you, He's there to love you as well. And our hearts need that way more than a good set of circumstances. Because circumstances come and go. Sometimes things are great, sometimes things are tension-filled and dramatic. I didn't know when I was 17 that my family would actually get back together and that things would get better. I had no idea. I was freaking out. But what I learned through that experience, and I'm not saying I would ever want anybody else to go through that, because there's multiple ways for God to teach us things. I would never want to go through that again. But what I learned from it is that in these times, 2021, 2020, I can look back on those times and go, no, wait a second. God was there to lead me then. He was there to love me back then. He'll lead me now, and He'll love me now. Even if things change, He's still going to lead me, show me what to do, help me out, give me direction, and He's still going to be there to love me. Wrap His arms around me, say, I'm not letting you go. This is going to be okay. We're going to get through this together. That's our promise, and we need that way more than we need a good set of circumstances. We need a good God. We need a good dad in our life. So remember, be patient. Reach out to your small group leader when things change in your family, or you feel like they might be changing, or you feel like they should change. Reach out to your small group leader. We want to be there for you, and we love to be there for you. Ask God for help and write down those scriptures. Put them in a place you can see them to help remind your brain of the reality that God has for you, as opposed to the lies that your own mind or exterior forces, friends would want you to believe. Because here's the thing, when our family changes, God's not just there to lead us, tell us what to do like a good coach, but He's also there like a good father to love us and to hold on to us.
I change the way you love me. Nothing can change the way I belong to you. Yes, I do. Nothing can separate.
You sing that.
Nothing can change the way you love me. Nothing can change the way I belong to you. Yes, I do. Nothing can separate.
Come on, you sing it. I'm gonna climb.
I'm gonna climb a mountain.
Hey.
And I am a child of love. I found a world of freedom. I am a child of love. I'm gonna climb a mountain. I'm gonna shout about it. I am a child of love. I found a world of freedom. I found a friend in Jesus. I am a child of love. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I am a child of love. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I am a child of
We're here for you, God. There's nothing that our God can't do. So let's sing it to him. Oh, in just one word, you call the storm that surrounds me. With just one word, the darkness has to retreat.